Hello there, Gacha gamers. It it is time. I saw this come back up. I couldn't find the information that I'd wrote out, so I figured, right, it's got to be a video now. Do you gacha? Question mark. First and foremost, yes. Right. That's always the answer. The answer is just yes. There you go. That's the video. Because then you get wonderful bits like this. Yeah, and that felt great, didn't it? Except for the fact that, well, actually, the 2-star disc was what I was after. It wasn't, but it's to illustrate a point. And the point with this is that, realistically, whilst you are playing a gacha game, pity is your friend. And I knew what I was getting in for. A 2-star monster at minimum. Now, that's where these banners are interesting, because you look at a standard banner, it goes all the way to 300. You look at the specialist banners, and they are 200 apiece. So suddenly, you're having to weigh up a very different question. What you can pull is a moot point. If I sit here and go, well, theoretically, if I do 300 pulls and I'm just lucky, I can get 300 MRs. Well, no, that's not how it works. You do 100 pulls and you might not get an MR. But what you do get is a 3-star monster and 2 chances at something that's 2-star or higher. If you were to do that here, you get an SSR ticket that could be an MR. 2 chances at monsters. Or here, you get a 3-star disc and 2 2-star discs. So ultimately, whilst you're looking at this, pity is important. So if we look at the main track, you are getting a 50-50 at 200 over an MR or an SSR. This is better if there are 2 MRs on the banner. Full stop. But with an MR and an SSR, that really is a coin flip. You get the same coin flip at 250 on the monsters. That could be 3, that could be 2. You get a choice of card at 300, and you get a guaranteed 3-star monster, but that could be anything. So you can see here that that could quite literally be anything. So even the actual monsters, they're only 22.5%. So you have a 1 in 4 chance less than of rolling one of those from that 3-star disc. So then you have to start asking yourself the question, what do you want from the banner? If you are sat there and you're like, well, I kind of want a little bit of this, I kind of want a little bit of that, or you want nothing, then just stick to the main banner. If you are specifically die-hard after these cards, I wasn't at the start of this banner, but I was very lucky with the MR, so I've decided to go all in on trying to get more copies of it. If I get 1 more, I'll just use a scroll and max it out. But statistically, I should not have got what I have done. Statistically, it's 0.7%. I've done 250 pulls, so I should not have even seen. If you did 100, you wouldn't have even seen 1 theoretically. So if I do 200, I should have seen 1.4. I've done 250 and I've seen 4 of them. 3 of them? 3 of them, because I got 1. I picked 1 up from my guaranteed. So, if you have 30k, that will get you, guaranteed, a card, guaranteed a monster, and not of your choice. So if you keep pulling Zan, great, well that's fine because now you can pick the dog. If you keep pulling the dog, that's great because you can pick Zan. If you keep getting the MR and you really want the SSR, you could pick it. I wouldn't advise it, but you could do it. The main banner, you lose out on some of that. You don't get to pick a monster. You do get to pick a card. And if you win the 50-50 on the coin flip, you are in a theoretical better position for the MR. So ultimately you sit there and you go, right, well I go to 200 if I get the MR. That's exactly the same as the card banner. But actually, you've also had a chance here at a 3-star monster. So you're starting to see where some of these differences start to matter. The reality of the actual banners themselves and their odds, it really isn't much. 0.5 as opposed to 0.7. So if I do 200 pulls, that's 0.4, technically, of an extra MR that I should have got. But it's a lower chance of getting the SSR, as that goes down to 2.3. So actually, if you're only after the SSR, you might... I don't know why I changed over to that. Your SSR chance, 0.6 there, out of 2.3. So it's just over a quarter. Whereas here, it is 2.5%, 0.4. So the chances of getting it are higher, but the chances of rolling an SSR are lower, ironically. And I did 250 pulls. I got plenty of SSRs. I did not see the dog once until I went on my second run, and then I think I got it 2 in there, so 220. The monster banner, again, from a pity standpoint, 200, you get what you want. You really, really don't want to pull this unless you desperately just want the monster. 0.1% chance of an MR is hideous. And you're not even rolling great odds here. Yes, 2.250 looks good, and the pickup is massive. But that still means that if you roll a 3-star, you only have a 7.5 out of 20. So it's just about a third chance that it's actually going to be one of those monsters. And one of those 3 monsters you don't want anyway, because it'll be the dog. And your rate up chances of SSRs and MRs are gone. They're just not there. You know, you massively kneecap yourself from a card standpoint pulling on the monster banner. And I think this is part of why the card banner ends up being so alluring. You know, the cards are really good. The cards work for lots of different things. You know, pulling a monster, okay, ironically, the game's called MonsterRancher, but they're less inciting parts of this. It's this whole idea that ultimately you want to work for pity. If you've got 60,000, oh, we don't talk about that banner. If you've got 60,000 gems, then that could get you to pity on both of the focus banners. If you have 45,000 gems, but you're liking the look of both, you go for the main. Realistically, if you want to be pedantic, optimally, you probably just always want to pull on the card banner, provided that you can get all the way to pity. If you don't be disappointed if you don't get what you want, is the reality of it. And with that said, I will see you all next time.